welcome back to Sunrise. So this segment is part 2 of a 4-part series highlighting marine managed areas across Jamaica, their importance and the role they play in preserving our marine ecosystem. The Boscobel and White River Fish Sanctuaries join us this morning to introduce us to corals and highlight the state of our coral reefs and the work being done to protect them. Our guests this morning are manager of the Boscobel Fish Sanctuary, Jarlene Lane, and coral reef ecology consultant with White River Fish Sanctuary, Felix Shanley. Welcome to Sunrise, guys.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. You know, I was saying earlier that, you know, sometimes when we think about these things, we think it's so far away from us and it don't have nothing to do with us. Oh, that is people who care about marine life. That's a for them thing. How do we bring that conversation back to the everyday person, the everyday Jamaican?
So one thing I like to tell everyone is that we are an island surrounded by water. The oceans provide so much to us in terms of livelihoods. We depend on it for food security, we depend on it for tourism and recreation, we depend on it for jobs as well. So it is in our best interest that we play a part in protecting this very vital marine environment. So I believe raising awareness as much as we can, going into schools, the communities, working with different organizations to raise as much awareness as we can is one of the best ways forward.
Yeah, I see this is coral on our table, is that right?
So beautiful.
What's happening with our coral reefs and why do we have this here? Tell us what's happening.
These are actually skeletons of all 3 of our target species in restoration that we've really been targeting typically for the last 20 or so years in the region, because they're the fast growers, the elkhorns and the staghorns, and there's a little hybrid over here. So what's happened specifically with this genus is that in the last 4 decades or so, they've been declining. So in the 70s, these were still what you saw when you went out there, the golden branching things that built this entire island's shelf. That is the reason we still have beaches and communities along the coast. So they've been declining because of so many factors, but anthropogenic climate change, you know, human-induced changes to the environment. But we keep getting these severe episodes of extreme heat in the summers, and they have become more consecutive. And 2023 basically wiped these guys out. So it was what you could call a near extinction event.
I was going to ask, that's crazy. It's climate change is definitely something that I'm always like, what are we doing? What's really happening? And it's crazy how it affects everything, and it comes back to us as well. Like I said earlier, we feel like I'm not going to bother doing anything. I'm not going to, what can I do? What's my small thing that I can do? And so I'm asking you today, you know, what is that small thing that everybody could do? What's yes, exactly. You know, is it to stop doing something, or is it to start doing something? What do we do?
Well, what we can do in terms of mitigation and adaptation, we can try to reduce our negative impacts, such as our carbon footprint on the environment, because we know that carbon dioxide in our environment is damaging. A lot of the practices that we partake in are not conducive to the health of the environment, and so we would want to change that. But as I said before, it starts with education and building awareness, and so that's the route we're taking. What we can do is actually educate ourselves, learn, go out to our community meetings that are being held, partake in environmental programs, you know, little things that will aid the environment. Don't keep it to ourselves, don't gatekeep, put the message out there as much as possible that it is important to protect our environment.
So as far as things that we could start doing, stop doing, I want to go home to my kids today and say, hey, we're not doing this anymore, or hey, we're going to start doing this. Can we get one actionable thing that maybe we could do?
But don't just take the burden, because, you know, it's not just little we, but also there are people out there with names and addresses that are actively destroying the planet. You know, we can't just take that responsibility for ourselves. So we do have to demand a change. So the more you know, the more you can actually do and make those demands. And the information is out there.
Got it, got it. It's very interesting. I'm curious to know, I mean, I don't know if this is something, is overfishing a problem that's happening here in Jamaica? Do we have enough protected areas? Are they being, you know, respected? Are we following those guidelines? Is that an issue that we're having here?
Yes, a few of the challenges is that we do have overfishing here in Jamaica. That is something that we are trying to combat as much as possible with putting in protected areas. So far we've had, well, this year with 2 new sanctuaries being gazetted, we're up to 20 right now. I believe there is still room for improvement because, I mean, as much as our coastline to be protected as possible, and in keeping with Jamaica's Vision 2030, we're trying to protect at least 30% of our marine space by that time. I don't think we're there yet, but we're en route to getting there. So, yeah.
Great. And then we have World Ocean Day coming up. Is that right? You look like you wanted to jump in with something, Felix. Felix, what you did want to say?
No, what's happening on World Oceans Day?
Okay, so World Oceans Day is actually celebrated annually on June 8th, globally around the world. It is a day commemorated to the protection of oceans. Persons who, well, I believe we all have an interest in protecting the oceans because 70% of our world is water, and most of that is marine. So we go in, we'll do environmental activities such as beach cleanups, underwater cleanups for persons who dive and swim. We'll go into schools, we'll raise awareness, we'll have community meetings, anything to commemorate the protection of the ocean and the importance of commemorating.
And how can we find out more information about how we can support, how we can find more information about what y'all are doing and how we can be a part of the solution, not the problem?
Okay, so the Sandals Foundation is one of our main funding partners here in Jamaica that funds 2 marine sanctuaries here in Jamaica. We do have a webpage. We do have
Great, it's on the screen. Yeah.
we do have somewhere where persons can actually log on, see what we're doing, the efforts of the foundation as it relates to community environment, education, and the marine space. Assist with beach cleanups, go onto our website, see when we're having any events. The NCTFJ, they are collaborative partners. They as well advertise any events that are coming up with any of these marine sanctuaries or marine protected areas. So feel free to.
Thanks so much for being here today. You guys really appreciate it. We could talk about this for hours, I'm sure.
And another thing you can do on World Oceans Day, and not just on World Oceans Day, but we need swimmers. So if you're out there, you swim, doesn't matter if you're a spearfisher or just a free diver. But right now, we're looking for these guys.
Ah, great.
So we are swimming around this entire island looking for survivors to ensure a future for this thing that we call restoration. Yeah. So if you're a swimmer, get in touch. White River Fish Sanctuary is also Instagram. We're trying to get better with the updates. But we need the swimmers.
Love that. All right, I love that.
Thank you so much, Sherilyn Lane, manager of the Boscobel Fish Sanctuary, and Felix Shanley, Coral Reef ecology consultant with White River Fish Sanctuary. But I can't.
It's not a regular job.
On the other side of the break.
It's on your mark, get set, go!
With the Jamaica Teachers Association Sagicor National Athletic Championships.
I'm going to swim and try and find somebody.